Okay, so here we're going to get started with our webinar now. We had a nice little chat before. So we're going to be talking about interview preparation. Now, I know that there are a lot of IMGs that underestimate the importance of preparation and preparing for interviews the right way. Okay, so here's the common approach. So you might hear other people doing this, and this is the common approach. You get a list of interview questions. It could be 100 questions. It could be 200 questions. And you practice with other IMGs in WhatsApp groups or other places, and you agree on the perfect answer. You go, oh, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. I'm sorry. That is the wrong way. Sorry, the wrong way. So when I'm kind of harsh like that, I'm saying these things with love because I don't want you to prepare the wrong way. So that's why I'm sharing with you tonight what my clients experience so you can get the benefit of what I've learned since 2019 tonight. Okay, this is a proven methods. So why is it wrong? You say, okay, Simone, you say it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Well, number one, you can't know which questions the interviewers will ask. There's no way to know. Okay, so if you try to get answers, perfect answers from this list of 100, 200 questions, it's going to sound canned. Okay, a canned answer sounds flat. It's totally forgettable. Okay, so you might think you have the perfect answer, but it's perfectly boring. Okay, so don't be boring. Okay, don't be boring. And number three, you'll get even more stressed out this way. Since it's impossible, even if you prepare for hundreds of questions, it's still impossible to know what a specific program director or panel will ask you. So it actually will give you more anxiety and stress. What do you think? Can you give me an emoji if you're with me, and not a thumbs up? I want to see some really your favorite emoji. Mine is the one with the woman that's like dancing. I'll show you my favorite one. This is my favorite one because I love this one. Oh, come on, get there you go. There you go. Thank you, Katerina. Thank you. Uh-huh. Yes, I like these. Oh, I like the one with the glasses. That's another one I like to use. So good. Oh, I like that one. Oh, a cowboy. I like that one too. Very good, very good. I'm glad you're with me. So, y'all are doctors. I hope you know what these things are. I can't teach you medicine stuff, but they know you're smart. They have your CV. Okay, they know they have your CV. Now you have to show them your heart. So this is a question, and I did receive a bunch of questions already, and I'm going to answer this one now. People are talking about red flags and about other problems, in your application during the interview. And I want to tell you that yes, you have to be ready to talk about your red flags. But remember, when you get at that invitation, when you walk into that room or turn on your computer, open your screen, you're on level ground with everyone else. Okay. So you've gotten that invitation because they believe that you are qualified to be a resident there. What they're trying to figure out, so they know you're smart. What they're trying to figure out is, could you be part of their team, a strong member of their team, a good work friend? That's what they're trying to figure out in the interview. Okay, now there might be some that go for fellowships and other things, and it's very, very technical. But most of these interviews that I've ever heard about or had people tell me about is they're all about you as a good work friend. It's a good part of the team. So just remember that as we go through this. So here are your 4 steps to crafting unforgettable interview responses. So there's 4 steps for preparing. This is for preparing to answer these common questions, because even though we don't know what the interviewers will ask us, we know there are some common themes that we can prepare for now. So congratulations to the 100. Oh, I got to take a screenshot of that. All right. 100 of you starting to prepare tonight. Yes. Woo! Fantastic. Fantastic. So here are the 4 steps. First, you're going to build connections through stories, through storytelling. That's how we connect with other people's hearts. You're going to discover the QBQ. Do you know what the QBQ is? Doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you later, but maybe you're smart and you know that. Number 3 is matching stories to common questions. And then 4 is applying the STAR technique. Now, you'll see number 1 is not starting with a whole bunch of questions, right? So what's number 1? Number 1 is starting with your story. You got to start with your story. Okay, so let's talk about that. Step 1, building connections through stories. So I'd like you to get out your piece of paper and your flower pen, or if you're sad, if you just have a regular pen, I feel bad for you. But if you have a pen with a flower, that'd be nice. So I'm going to give you just a minute. I'm going to take a little break here. And I want you to think of 3 to 5 stories or incidents. You don't have to tell the story right now, or events that have impacted your career and your life. Otherwise, these are known as signpost moments or turning points. Okay, so let me give you examples. So you could think of maybe a spark story. So a spark story is when you first realized that you wanted to be a doctor, or that you were intrigued by the specialty, or that even that you knew that you wanted to come to the United States, or that something that your mentor said, maybe. So tell us, and then you could tell a story about a patient with a challenging medical situation. So we're talking medicine here. So I'd like to know something about that. Tell a story about a conflict, and it can be a conflict in the workplace, or it could just be it could be back in medical school or at another job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be about medicine, but just think about a time where you were in a conflict. And then also think about a time where you had a victory, something you're really proud of, really proud of. So I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes for you to think about those things, and then I will be back. So don't go away. I'm just going to be out of here for just a couple minutes. And I'm going to come and ask you if you did it. Okay. You guys weren't paying attention. No video. I can't hear. That's because I was on a break. And what did I do? I went and I have these workout cards for your desk, right? So I pulled out a couple of these cards. One is for arm pulses and one is for arm circles. And so I did a little bit of a stretch because I sit here a lot. So I'm excited about my desk cards. Okay, so what did you think? Was that helpful? This is just to get you started thinking. Start thinking about those incredible moments in your life that made such a difference for you, that changed everything. They can be tragedies, they can be realizations, they can be victories, when you're like really proud of yourself or you're proud of your team. Like I just had one the other day. I have the largest community group right now, and I was able to help so many IMGs complete their personal statements and their ARIS applications. And I just saw them grow, and being able to tell their stories already. And I felt like it was a victory for all of us, so I feel like even more encouraged to go on and do more work for that. So that's just a short example of like how things have changed in my life. So anyway, hopefully you took your paper and pen out and you wrote some notes. If you did, give me an emoji with a pencil or a pen or a piece of paper. Let's see if y'all can find those. Can we find them? If you can tell, I like emojis. So you could go to search emoji, put pin in there, and you can find pencil. Oh, there's one. Yeah, they're very good. Very good. Y'all are smart. Y'all are smart. I like that. I like that. Very good. Very good. Still got 100 people. Oh, that one's good. But see, that's a right-hander. See, I'm a left-hander. Any lefties here? Any lefties? I know that's kind of taboo in a lot of countries, but I'm a lefty. I'm a proud lefty. Proud lefty. All right, great. Thank you. Oh, another lefty. Yes. Good job. So let's move on. So that's step one. Step one is getting in touch with your stories. Okay, so these aren't fully developed stories yet. Don't worry, we're going to get there. But maybe having conversations with people back home, your best friend, your crazy cousin, your siblings, your parents, about certain times in your life to get the details more clear. If you can have conversations with people, then that will bring some details back that might be a little bit fuzzy right now, because you guys have been you've had so many experiences as IMGs, unbelievable experiences. And so capture those, because that's where your personality and your um, kind of your ability to connect with people, that's where it is in the stories. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, you're both handed. Oh, of course. Maybe you're going to be a surgeon. Are you going to be a surgeon or a baseball player? All right. Step two is discovering the QBQ. The QBQ is the question behind the question. So every question they ask you is not necessarily what's on the surface. It's what they want to know about you. That's what they're trying to get you to reveal something about yourself, some character strength or weakness. That's the QBQ. And it sounds like it's hard to do, and it kind of is hard to do at first. But if you can use your intuition a little bit here, and I know as doctors, you need to have a lot of intuition, I hope. And so you have to use your intuition here to figure out what is the question behind the question. So when someone asks you something, don't just take it at face value. You think to yourself, what is it that they want to know about me? That's really important to know, because if you just answer it on the surface, it is not going to be a satisfying or impactful answer. Do you see? It's not going to be impactful. It's just going to be flat, right? It's going to be flat, like those questions, list of questions that you practice till they're perfect. But you have to know the QBQ. Any questions about QBQ? Question behind the question. Remember that, because I'm not going to say question behind the question anymore. I'm just going to say QBQ because I like the way it sounds. Okay, good. All right. Now, what are these character revelations? So I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to take a screenshot of this. Okay, take a screenshot. Did you take a screenshot? Okay, can it sound like we're thinking too hard when all they wanted was a straight answer? Yes, it can sound like that. But we're going to talk about what kind of questions you're going to use. Yep. learn how to be spontaneous while dealing with QBQ. That's right. We're gonna talk a little bit more. I know I see some skeptics, and I'm fine with that. You're supposed to be inquisitive. Yes. Tell me about yourself. What is the question behind the question for this? They want to know if you're going to be rambling on and being boring. That's what they want to know. Okay, so character revelation, character revelation. Did you make a screenshot? So these, no, it's not going to come out as well rehearsed. I promise you. Just stick with me. Just trust me. I've been doing this for a while, I promise. So this is important because these are these soft skills that usually they want to know about you. Remember I said they know you're smart. Now show them your heart. This is what you're showing them. You're showing them your strengths here. So keep this in mind. So when they ask you a question, they really want you to reveal something about your character. And it could be one of these things. I'm just giving you a list that I think is cool. It could be other things as well. But I think that overall, these are the ones that come across. And you'll see that a lot of these were on your ERIS application, weren't they? You saw a lot of those on there. And so that's why I tell my clients, be ready with your top 3 experiences because they'll probably want to talk about that. And that key characteristic is probably the thing that you can focus on. But you can see them in here, right? Some of them. So good. So what is the QBQ? Tell me about a time when you worked with a difficult team member. Okay, so you're gonna answer this in the chat. Tell me about a time when you worked with a difficult team member. So what is the character revelation that they want to know about? What do you think? Teamwork, good. Good. Anyone else? Teamwork? Communication, good. Compatibility, yep, that's good. Flexibility, how we manage to coordinate, yep, you got it, you got it. So conflict resolution, certainly. That's probably my favorite one is conflict resolution. Is it in here? I don't know. Okay, great. Fantastic. Now let's go to the next one. Tell me about a time when you disagreed with a rule, policy, or approach. Tell me about a time that you disagreed with a rule, policy, or approach. Disagreement about a rule, policy, or approach. So this is not something about a person. This is about a policy. Good critical thinking. I like that. Very good. Very good. Communication. Yep. Very good. Yeah, very good. It could be cultural humility, right? It could be a lot of these, but I like these. I like this confidence. Yes. Now, maybe you never had a time where you actually verbally disagreed with a rule, policy, or approach, right? But think about yourself and how you would deal with that based on your personality. Okay, so you're on a rotation with a senior resident and a medical student. So you're right in the middle. You don't agree with your senior's diagnosis and or treatment plan. What do you do? Okay, so which one? Which one? I like that. Confidence, decision making, good. Communication. Yep, I think that's a good one. Yep. Maybe teamwork. I just saw a team there, right? A team. How do you work within a team when you're having problems? That's good. Very good. I like that. I like that. You got it. You guys are getting there. Okay, so here's another one. What can you teach me right now? What can you teach me right now? Which is a very common question, by the way. What can you teach me right now? People are actually answering. Japanese characters. What's the QBQ? Anime. Oh my goodness. I'll have to tell you later. My brother, my little baby brother, is an anime voice actor. Okay, he's kind of famous. Whatever. All right, good, good. I was thinking for that one, steady under pressure. If you weren't expecting that question, because you will be getting some questions that you don't expect, are you going to be steady? I like that one. Good. Steady under pressure. So now do you understand what I'm talking about when I say, what is the QBQ? You guys got it? You understand that? Now, do you understand it? Yes, good, good. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, so now we've done step one. We've started thinking about our stories. We're going to start collecting stories as of starting tonight. Then we're learning about the question behind the question, or the QBQ. And now is when we get to the questions. That's step three, right? So you're going to get a question. Some of them are very common. So really you only have to concentrate this process that we're doing tonight. You don't have to do it with 200 questions, just the common ones. You're ready for the common ones and you're steady under pressure for the other ones. So match the stories with the common questions. So if you think about a story, okay, so this is a process. This is why it's good to have a mentor for this that can work through these issues with you. But if you think about one story, sometimes one story can answer 3 or 4 different kinds of questions, right? One story can address or can be matched with 3 or 4 questions, maybe 2, okay? But sometimes if you're really good at this, you can make your victory stories match with a lot of different kinds of questions. And we're talking about behavioral questions here mostly. So determine the QBQ, what the interviewer wants to discover about your character. So maybe they're wanting to know about conflict resolution in the workplace. So choose a story that shows your strength. Okay, choose a story that shows your strength and be able to talk about it. And we're going to do that next. Okay. So remember your stories. Tell a story about a patient with a challenging medical condition. Okay. So you have to think about what is it that they want to know. Because if you miss out on the QBQ, you'll see in a minute, you'll be missing something. You will not have a holistic answer. So you're going to think about, what is it they want to know about me? What is the character revelation that they want to know? And which story do I have ready? Because I've thought about all my stories deeply before this time. What story from my life, from my experience, some that are preloaded for people who've asked me from LinkedIn. So I'm going to take care of those first. But I will stay on tonight as long as I need to answer your questions, okay? But don't ask any until later, till we get to the Q&A. All right. So here is your STAR method. This is an industry standard. You can actually Google this and you can see that it's everywhere. Okay, this is the best way to answer interview questions, and it's a very popular method. But I put my own spin on it. Okay, so I'm going to go through all of these one by one. But you need your piece of paper, okay, or screenshot. Okay, whichever way is helpful for you. I'm going to ask you before we move on, is everybody still with me? I got 86 people. Some people dropped out, and this is like the best part of it. That's a bummer. So good. Everybody still with me? Give me a fun emoji. Got to get my energy up. Boom, 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 boom. I love that. Thank you so much. My energy's back. All right. All right. S is for situation. I like that. S is for situation. T is for task. A is for approach. R is for result. And a bonus R for reflection. Okay. That if you look up STAR, star approach, that's what you'll find. You won't find that second R because that's just from me. Okay. Let's go through these one at a time. You ready? So the situation is, what was the overall problem to solve or mission to be accomplished? So you want to think, when you're telling your story, when you're relating your story as connected to the question, you first talk about the situation. Who, what, when, where, why. And so the pronoun that you're using is we, because you want to talk about yourself in a team situation. Okay, if it is a team situation, it could be an I, but most usually it's a big issue. So it's going to be more than one person. So maybe you were doing a health camp back in your medical school. And so why were you doing that? Well, because there was this village and they really needed help with this issue. And so we all got together and decided, well, we're going to do a health camp over in this village, because we want to help them with, whatever kind of education on diabetes or vaccinations or, hygiene, whatever it is. So, and who is on the team? That's who were you coordinating with? Okay, so that's the situation. The next one is the task. So what did you need to do, or what were your responsibilities? So this is your bit in the big situation. So the situation is big. The task is your part in that. What is it that you needed to do as part of this whole project or situation? Your part in the whole, you should be using I right then. I needed to do this. I was given the task to connect with the village elder and get some, flyers out. I did the communications part of the entire thing. I'm just thinking of one that's common. So task, so situation, task. The next one is the approach or the action. So this is the one you should be as specific as you can here. What steps did you take in order to solve the problem or to contribute to the team effort or to contribute to solving the problem at the workplace? So let's say that you were working with a coworker and you had a disagreement with them. Okay, so your part was you had to think about how you were going to solve it. So you have a lot of different options. So the approach is, what are your options and which ones did you choose? I could have chose to ignore it. I could have chose to speak to them privately. I could have chose to escalate it to the next level because I felt like, there was a problem that I couldn't resolve. Whatever it was, what was your approach and action? And think about it as action. Try to tell this story with action verbs. And one tip about the English language is when we're telling stories, many times we'll use the present tense. Okay, so I see my coworker, I approach him, I say, why are you late again? I ask him to come with me into the room and I have a conversation with him, right? So that's all kind of in the present. It keeps it moving a little bit faster. If you talk about everything in the past tense, it's harder to connect. So when you're telling a story, keep it in the present tense, okay? And then you want to also connect your actions with character traits, competencies, or soft skills. You want to think about, as you're doing this approach or this action, what is that showing about you? What is it telling them about your character? That is actually revealed in the approach or the action that you took. So this is where you want to be as specific as you can about that. And then finally is the result. Now, many people want to concentrate on the result, but that's not really, this part is actually the revealing of your character more than the result is. Sometimes you don't really have control over the result. So let's say you're taking care of a patient and that patient dies. I mean, that happens. I mean, you have a hard job. Nobody dies from what I do. I don't see that here, but that's part of what you experience. Sometimes people die, sometimes they don't get cured, but that doesn't mean that you can't share a story about something, because like I said, sometimes those results are out of your hands, or maybe you did some research and the results aren't what you thought they should be, but that doesn't change the fact that you were in this beautiful group of people that furthered that research. And then if you don't want to give too many details, okay, but if the interviewers ask you follow-ups, they can do that. They can ask you follow-ups on the results, but I think that it's not really as important as you may think it is. I think you can get through the result pretty quickly if you think about it. And then finally, the reflection, my favorite. It's the most important part of your response because it's what you learned through this experience. So you have to show them that you have a teachable heart, that you have self-reflection, like self-knowledge. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You have a teachable heart. You're willing to learn more, and you're committed to making a change. So that's what that reflection is all about. So it's very easy. You can use this line at the end. Through this experience, I learned that. Okay. And that's how you're going to show them your strength, your character trait that you want to show them. Okay. So that is the STAR approach, STAR. And a bonus R, always do the reflection. I can't tell you, I've been doing this for years, and I'll get somebody and they'll do the STAR just beautifully. And they'll go boom, 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 and then leave me hanging. And they forget the reflection. And I say, okay, through this experience, I learned that. And they go, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. So important. So important. And I know that this seems like a lot tonight, but I've seen this. I've seen it over and over. When people commit to learning this approach and sharing their stories in this way, it's very powerful, number one. And it's a little bit, it can be, it's a learning curve. There is a learning curve. Okay, there's a learning curve. But once you learn this method, the STAR method, you will see that you'll use it over and over and over for the rest of your life. You'll get so good at it that you'll be able to tell any story in this way. And then, so let's pull it all together. Remember, listen carefully to the question. Listen carefully to the question first. Make sure you know what they're asking. You can even repeat it back to make sure that you understand what they're asking. And then you have to think to yourself, what is it they really want to know? I wonder what it is they want to know. Do they want to know about my communication skills, my conflict resolution skills, my leadership abilities, the ability to work in a team? What is it that they want to know about me? And then you follow that STAR format to give the holistic response. And then remember, the focus of the story can change slightly, and the reflection based on the QBQ. That's why you can have one story and it can actually answer several questions. You're just going to change it slightly. So in conflict resolution, you can say, well, I learned from this experience, I learned that that dealing with a difficult coworker privately first is the best way to work things out between coworkers. Okay. Or you could say, I learned that communicating with the team, because we were experiencing communication breakdowns, working with the team to figure out how we could better communicate with each other. That's what I learned in this experience. So you change the reflection to match what you feel is you want to show them your character strength in. So that's how you pull it all together. Now, it's your turn. It's your turn. So tell about a time that you had to deal with a difficult patient, colleague, diagnosis, and how you resolved it. So you're going to think about, what are some common interview questions that your story could help answer? What character traits did you exhibit? What core competencies did you engage? And what soft skills did you employ? So that's what you're going to think about. Tell me a time that you had to deal with a difficult patient, colleague, diagnosis, and how you resolved it.